Today, we're digging into what is, without a doubt, the most important checkup our planet has ever had. We're talking about the big synthesis report from the IPCC. That's the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. Think of it as the ultimate summary of our planet's health. I mean, seriously, just imagine for a second. What if we could take Earth to the doctor for a full physical? What would the charts say? What kind of diagnosis would we get? And, most importantly, what would the prescription be to get it back on track? Well, believe it or not, that's kind of what just happened. The IPCC's sixth assessment report is basically that doctor's note. It's the culmination of years of work from thousands of the world's top experts. It's the most solid, authoritative scientific assessment we have. So let's break down what it actually says. Okay, so first things first, the diagnosis. This is the part of the checkup where we look at the planet's vital signs. No projections, no what-ifs, just the cold, hard facts about where we are right now. And the report's number one finding comes with the strongest possible language. The word they use is unequivocally. Now, scientists are usually pretty careful with their words. So when they say something is unequivocal, it's as definitive as it gets. There's just no scientific debate anymore. We are the ones warming the planet. So how warm are we talking? Well, the key number is this, 1.1 degrees Celsius. That's how much hotter the globe is today than it was before the Industrial Revolution. And that might not sound like a huge number for the weather outside, but for a whole planet, that's like running a serious fever. It's a massive amount of extra energy now trapped in our system. And to put this into perspective, like a really, really big perspective, the amount of carbon dioxide in our air right now is higher than it's been in at least 2 million years. Let that sink in. We have pushed our atmosphere into a state that the planet hasn't seen in an almost unimaginable amount of time. And here's the thing. This isn't a problem that's been building at a steady pace. It's been accelerating. In 2019, our global greenhouse gas emissions were 54% higher than they were back in 1990. So in just 30 years, we cranked up our yearly pollution by more than half. That pace has slowed down a bit recently, but we're still at an all-time high. And this isn't some abstract threat for our grandkids. The report is crystal clear that the effects of that 1.1 degree fever are here and they're everywhere. We're talking more intense heat waves, real damage to ecosystems from coral reefs to forests, and our city's infrastructure, our roads, our power grids, getting hit by extreme weather. It's even impacting our health and forcing people from their homes. All right, so that was the diagnosis of where we are. Now, let's talk about the prognosis. Based on everything we know, where are we headed? What does the future look like? And this, right here, is probably the most crucial takeaway from the whole report. The future isn't a fixed destination. The kind of world a child born today will grow up in is being decided literally by the choices we are making right now. To make that choice real, the report lays out these different possible futures. It's like a tale of two worlds. In a world where we limit warming to 1.5 degrees, we'd still see some tough impacts for sure. But in a 3-degree world, we're talking about severe declines in our food supply and way, way more days where it's literally life-threatening to be outside. And that's why you hear scientists say that every fraction of a degree matters. It really, really does. Because as things get hotter, the risks don't just add up, they multiply. We're talking about massive species loss, more food shortages, and supercharged extreme weather. Plus, we start to run the risk of hitting these irreversible tipping points. Things like the collapse of a major ice sheet, which you just can't undo. Okay, I know, that was a pretty sobering diagnosis and prognosis. But after all that, the report shifts gears. It gives us the prescription. And you know what? This is the really hopeful part. The science is also absolutely clear that we have the tools and the know-how to build a much, much better future. So what's the goal of this prescription? It's to reach what's called net zero. It sounds technical, but the idea is powerful and pretty simple. We need to get to a point where we are balancing the scales, where any greenhouse gases we still put into the atmosphere are matched by the amount we pull out. Once we hit that balance, global warming stops. And here's the truly fantastic news. The main tools we need to do this aren't some far-off fantasy. They're here, and they are getting cheaper at a dizzying pace. I mean, just look at this chart. The cost of solar and wind power has absolutely nosedived. It's a total game changer. In a lot of places, it's now cheaper to build new clean energy than new fossil fuels. And you know what happens when things get cheaper and better? People start using them. Look at this growth curve. It's exponential. This isn't a projection. This is the reality of the clean energy transition that is already happening right now. So what this all means is that we have a whole toolkit of things that work. And the IPCC lays them out. We're talking about rapidly scaling up solar and wind, becoming way more efficient with our energy, protecting nature, switching to electric cars, and changing how we use land and food. There's no single silver bullet, but there is silver buckshot. We have lots of options. And on that point about nature, the report gives us a really clear number. To keep our planet's life support systems healthy, scientists say we need to protect and conserve somewhere between 30 and 50% of the Earth's land, its freshwater, and its oceans. So, let's pull all this together. What's the bottom line from this planetary checkup? The report doesn't just lay out a problem, it really lays out a choice that has incredibly clear consequences and, importantly, clear benefits. And I want to leave you with this direct quote from the report, because it flips the whole conversation on its head. The scientists found that the economic and social benefits of acting on climate change are actually greater than the costs. When you add up things like cleaner air and better health, this stops being about a cost and starts being about a really smart investment in our future. So there you have it. The planet's checkup is in. The diagnosis is clear. The prognosis depends entirely on us. And the prescription is written and ready to be filled. The report basically hands the pen back to all of us, to our leaders, to companies, to every single one of us. So the final question isn't what the science says, it's what future will we choose.